So, first video episode of the BAMF Podcast. Not coming from the workshop today, actually coming from my office. Slow day in January in the car business. I'm doing it on my iPad, so it's a little weird. The camera's a little offset. I don't know if you guys use that or not, so it always looks like I'm kind of staring off in the distance. I could face the camera, but then I don't actually see myself, so I guess I could do that too. But we're going to give this a shot today. So, different setup, using my AirPods, iPad, just kind of winging it. There's a few things I want to talk about today. Normally I didn't do my normal Sunday recording. I was watching football, man, so there was some good football on Sunday, so I was doing that. And Junior and I went and hit the simulator, and got to keep the swing good for the season. So here we are, right? So, something I think I would want to talk about, kind of just staying on this, staying on the same sort of vibe is kind of where we're at with, this, what we call the cancel culture. Okay, so I don't know if you guys watched the Sony Open last week. Actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't even the Sony Open. It was the Kapalua. It was the Tournament of Champions, where Justin Thomas said kind of a homophobic slur as he missed the putt. Now, saying something inappropriate when you miss a putt is pretty normal for golfers, especially golfers that are playing with your buddies. This is not Justin Thomas's first episode of getting caught saying bad words on camera. For some, that makes him a little more approachable, and it's a little more human side, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think, everybody being too polished is boring, okay? That being said, he does have an obligation to be appropriate and to be, sensitive to certain groups, certain things. He has obligations to his sponsors, his employers, the PGA, to Polo, Ralph Lauren, Titleist, FootJoy. These are all his sponsors. So Ralph Lauren very publicly, very quickly, dropped him like a bad habit, right? It's certainly within their right. It's obviously, it's probably worded in their contract that it's within their contract to do so. But man, it's steep, it's not like he went on some Twitter tirade and called a particular person a name or a slur. He kind of blurted out something inappropriate at a time that is a very normal time to blurt something inappropriately as a golfer. Golf is a super frustrating sport. It, as my buddy Mike DeLaura has said, it's amazing how something we spend so much of our time and resources on can also bring us so much frustration. That happens on every level, right? Even the pros, are frustrated, and you'll see, what was that? Rory McIlroy, I think at the Honda a couple years ago, flung his 3-iron into the lake. If you remember, Woody Austin used to always hit himself in the head with the putter. You've seen a lot of stuff, right? So very, very human, very sort of natural. But they canceled his ass, okay? A lot of people getting canceled, man, right? Obviously, Twitter canceled Trump. It's slippery, dude. It's we are now to the point where nobody wants to see a different opinion than their own. And if you have a different opinion than somebody, there's a lot of times that somebody feels like it's okay to attack you or make fun of you, and that's just very un-American, I find it to be, So we had a situation at work a couple of months ago, and let me back this up by saying sort of post lockdown for dealerships. So keep in mind, in Michigan, car dealerships had to be closed for sales from about mid-March. I think we were able, I want to say we had to close on March 14th, and I think we were able to open back up on April, it was either 22nd, 24th, something like that. It was late in the month. And then once we were sort of allowed to come back, it slowly got back to normal, or normal-ish. A weird sort of byproduct of this COVID era, what we found as a company, is just weird reviews, like nonsensical, mostly negative reviews. People going on, Google Rater, Dealer Rater, Yelp, Facebook, Cars.com, etc. People have gone out of their way to give, not necessarily my store, but I've certainly got more weird ones this year than I've gotten in probably my last 13 years in the business. And I'm not really sure why that is. My hypothesis is it is people got cabin fever. They've been stuck in their house. They're bored. They're picking up all this venom that they see online, to where everybody just attacks each other. So they just think it's okay to attack a business that, for whatever reason. We actually had an individual that went on all of our company websites. Okay. Most dealers, it's a pretty normal practice, sort of a meet our staff. So any of the customer-facing staff, meaning sales, service advisors, parts advisors, managers, etc., you typically can find their name, title, picture on the website. So somebody, and we're guessing it was probably an ex-employee or something like that, but somebody was going through many of our dealerships. Now I work for a company that has about 53 stores, I think, 53 dealerships. So it's a pretty big task. But somebody took the time to go on our websites, write down people's names, then go find them on social media, and anybody that was a Trump supporter then sent a review on Google about that store, that I don't know why anybody would buy a car from this person, they're a Trump supporter, right? So first off, that person needs to get a fucking life, right? But secondly, just why, right? Why? By design, I program my employees to stay as neutral as possible, right? And I know that's a little bit counter to, some of my other views of free speech and all that, but, free speech is protected legally, okay? Not always professionally, right? So just like Justin Thomas kind of got into this hot water saying a couple of bad words, in sales, it's sort of important that you do your best not to offend anybody, right? And especially if you are using your social media to promote mine and our business, right? I prefer that you keep your political views and whatever other views like that sort of to yourself if you're going to be using your social media platform to promote our business. So not that I necessarily police it, but it's sort of a speech I give to all of our customer-facing employees that, it's pretty important that you stay as neutral as possible on that stuff. And probably best practice professionally is to just don't do it, right? Just stay out of it, be nice. And those are good practices in general. But you should just not do it. So, because there can be a price to pay, right? There can be, you risk offending a customer. You also, in our business and on the selling aspect, customers sometimes navigate through our website before they decide to engage with us and buy a vehicle from us. So, if you have another, psychopath that is going to look you up on social media before they come in the store, if they don't agree with what you're doing, they may not come in, right? So it could potentially cost you sales. So it's just, it's really just not necessary. You probably should just not do it. It's a weird world we're living in, right? But it's censorship is bad, right? This trying to get people fired from their jobs that made a mistake, and sometimes an honest mistake, is very bad. There's very few of us walking this earth that haven't made a mistake. Most of us make them daily. I probably do. It's none of us are above reproach. Nobody, right? You may think you are, but you're probably not. So before you tweet somebody or on something or about something, keep that in mind that your employers may be watching, and maybe could fire you, and maybe not even because they want to fire you, maybe because somebody else saw what you put, found out where you worked, reached out to your employer, made it an issue. No business wants to deal with this shit, especially if you say some offensive, insensitive things. You might lose your gig, right? So I don't know the exact number of people I follow on Facebook or friends or things I follow on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I don't do much on Snapchat, and LinkedIn is pretty inert. But people are watching, right? People are paying attention, and everybody's looking to punish somebody. So if you read something you don't like, just move on, read something else. If you have friends that are constantly posting things to your social media that you don't approve of, I don't know, maybe message them, have a conversation, give them perspective. Don't do it on the main page on Facebook, because that's probably what they want you to do. Those of you that are looking for a fight, you typically have no problem finding it there. Everybody's a fucking keyboard gangster. So if you take exception with what somebody puts on there, that's okay, that's your right. Reach out to them. Give them an opportunity to explain themselves. Give yourself an opportunity to explain yourself and why that may or may not be offensive. I have done that to some of you in the past, where something I read, I went like, whoa. And normally I'm just looking out for y'all. When I go like, hey man, you may want to take that down. I don't know if you really thought about where we're at, but that is fucking offensive as hell, or racist as hell, or what, and they go, oh, I didn't, it wasn't my intention. Yeah, I get it. I get what your intention is. But perception is reality, right? So, but I'm not going to go right on your page and dispute it openly or whatever. That's not really my style. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm sort of anti-cancel culture. I'm anti-Facebook fight. I ain't trying to do that shit, and you guys shouldn't either. At the end of the day, the way this country is going to move forward and heal, it's not going to be because of something a politician says. If you're waiting for help from them, you're going to be waiting a long time, because they don't give a fuck about you. Trust me. We got to fix this shit ourselves, right? And it starts here. It starts now. We have to be decent to ourselves. We have to be decent to each other. Stop trying to fucking cancel everybody's shit, If you're one of those people that, see something somebody reads and then, sends fucking reviews to their employer or whatever, stop that shit. Unless it's, unless they're a pedophile or some crazy shit like that, I guess I'm good with that. But otherwise, man, people make mistakes. Let people make mistakes. You are going to make them. We need to stop this fucking book burning bullshit, right? This, the new term is deplatforming, Okay, so Twitter is number one, but Facebook's been doing it too. I know a few of you that have had your whole Facebook profile just not there one day, because people are snakes, and whether it's Facebook themselves disagreeing with your views, it's more than likely your friends bitching about, reporting your post to Facebook that they don't agree with, because they're fucking cowards, and not taking the time to reach out to you and explain themselves and explain how that may be offensive and maybe they don't agree with it, and getting in some good adult conversation like that. But you just got to be careful. It's a weird fucking world, as I keep saying. So, I said, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before that the internet will make you hate people you like. Okay, so if there's any sort of tagline, underlying sentence that I want you to remember when you think about my podcasts, that's definitely one of them, right? Is don't take the bait, right? If somebody you like is posting things you don't like, reach out to them privately and talk to them about it. Maybe give them some perspective. But just unfollowing them or unfriending them, it's not really the answer. That's kind of the opposite of the answer, right? That is, looking at the world through a narrow, sort of a narrow spectrum, right? So if you only ever read shit that fits your ideology gets very narrow, and that's not healthy. That's how Hitler got 33 million people to think that rounding up all the Jewish people and killing them is a great idea, and going to war with the rest of the world was a great idea, right? You can't tell me all 33 million people were bad people, right? But that's what fascists do, right? They slowly remove any dissidents. Okay, that's what they do. They get it to where the only thing you see is what they want you to see. That's kind of what's happening right now, right? And it's not something I thought I would see in my lifetime, but we're on a rapid pace. Sorry, I'm fidgeting. This is a new thing for me. I typically talk like a Jersey Guido with my hands and doing all this shit, but I'm trying to be focused and keep my hands down. I know my eyes are all over the place. I'm just kind of ranting and going. And I'm not even sure how I sound. I probably should have done a mic check with the AirPods. But here we go. So, cancel culture, man. Don't do it. It's bad. Don't be a pussy. If somebody puts something on there that offends you and it's somebody you give a shit about, reach out to them. Let them know how you feel, okay? If you're just going to cancel their shit, you're just going to block them, you're just going to unfriend them, you're part of the problem. Listen, I'm not saying I haven't done it. There's been a couple of you I've had to hit fucking snooze on because what you put on there every day is making me want to punch you in your shit. And I don't want to do that, right? So when I start getting vibes from people that are making me a little nuts, I might snooze your ass for a little bit. I don't unfriend people or typically block people, but I just got to try to keep my own sanity, and some of that is I just need to stay off this shit. That's a part of it, but it's the world we live in, man. We're doing business on it. We are. We're buying things on it, we're selling things. I would tell you, don't buy shit that you see on Instagram, though, that a lot of these sort of wish type deals, too good to be true. On a separate rant, this is how not everything on the internet is true. Back in April, I saw there was an ad for, what was it? I bought like a little, like one of those patio sofas, right? And I forget what it was. It was a little L-shaped deal, it was like $350. Well, the ones I was looking at online were all like $1,000, like $900, $1,300. I'm like, fucking 300. It was like 360, something like that. I'm like, book it. So I buy it, and my Amex gets hit like immediately, but I never really get any confirmation from them, right? As far as who I was buying it from or whatnot. So never got like a confirmation purchase email, anything like that, right? Order number, etc. So, after like, it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. So it was probably like 3 or 4 months later. I haven't got this stuff, and I was just thumbing through my Amex bill, and I was like, oh shit, I bought that patio stuff, right? So I'm trying to look through there, trying to see who I can call, whatnot. I couldn't even figure it out. So I called Amex, and like they do, I had my money back like in 30 seconds. But all you sneakerheads out there, you've probably seen these stackable shoe boxes, right? So I got a shoe problem. I am the Imelda Marcos of golf, but I'm also a sneakerhead, so love me some J's, etc. So I got shoes. There's shoes everywhere. You can ask Kim. She's, just not happy about it. I got shoes everywhere. So you keep seeing these pictures online, these different ads to buy these stackable shoe boxes with the clear acrylic fronts, and they look awesome. So I see this thing, they're like $10 a piece. I buy like 10 of them. Well, they show up. It's basically like shitty plastic boxes. Like they come flat, and you have to like put them together like you would a card, like a Chinese takeout box, basically, right? They kind of fold into each other. It's flimsy as hell. Yeah, it does have the hard front plastic in the front, but what a fucking hunk of shit. And I should have known better. So, my segue from cancel culture is don't buy shit off the internet. It's or off Instagram. If something looks too good to be true and looks too cheap, you think in your head that's a really, really good deal. There's probably a reason for it, right? There's probably a reason for it. I'm not even sure if these headphones are working, but at the end of the day, be nice, be civil, be kind. We're going through some weird stuff moving forward in the next week or so. Another fucking impeachment, and what a waste of goddamn time that is. Nancy probably won't even submit it before the whole thing's over anyway, so it's probably all for naught. It's all show like normal. But you may be for it, you may be against it. Probably what you should really do is shut the fuck up. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. I do not look to Facebook to find out your political affiliation. I'm mostly annoyed by it, okay? Whether I'm for you or against you, I'm mostly annoyed by it. You should find something else to do. Remember when we first got on this, right? So I think I got on Facebook, would have been like the fall of 2009, I believe, okay? Maybe November, October, something like that. And I was a little late to the party as far as my peer group. I think a lot of other people had got on it sometime, maybe the year before. And it used to, man, it just used to be kind of about having fun, about cool shit. It used to be, pictures of your kids, pictures of vacations, places you've been, check-ins at places you like, and it was mostly positive, man. Now it's mostly negative. It's conspiracy theories. It's people fighting. It's pro-Trump, anti-Trump. It's your pledge of allegiance to Obama. It's how great you thought he was or whatever. Dude, trust me when I tell you, not anybody that follows any of you gives a flying fuck about your political views. Like, nobody cares. Like, I'm not the only one that's annoyed, right? And again, I'm pro free speech. If that's what you want to do, by all means do it. Just know that nobody gives a fuck, okay? If you hate Trump, nobody cares, okay? If you love Trump, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares, right? And if you want to do it. But if you have friends that oppose you, I hope your friends take the time to message you on the side and have a conversation about it, right? So it's good to have perspective. It's impossible to have perspective with a narrow view of the world. It's impossible to have perspective if you only look at one side of things. And it's dangerous, right? It's super dangerous to have, to look through things with tunnel vision, okay? Open up your fucking eyes, be aware, be goddamn civil. But I'll be contradictory here. Post what you want, but shut the fuck up, okay? Get back posting shit about your kids, promote your business. It's crazy, man. Some of you that use social media to promote your business are also very politically volatile, which is insane to me because it doesn't really make sense, like professionally, on how you would want to potentially alienate some of your customers, right? Like, I don't really get that. It's your right. Again, you should do what you want, but like, it doesn't make sense from a let's have a good business and make money perspective, right? Unless you only service people that share your views, which I doubt that's, what your business is. So be careful, man. Be careful. Don't lose business because you can't shut the fuck up, right? There's many of people that have lost good business deals, that have lost a bunch of money because they're an idiot. If you just saw the brand new GM for the Mets, he sent some 62 or 65 unsolicited texts, including some dick pics to some foreign reporter. And he thought in his mind that was okay, right? Man, it's 2021, man. That shit is not okay, right? Keep your dick pics to yourself, gentlemen, okay? Even if a woman asks you for a dick pic, I would probably tell you to not do it, right? Again, Herm Edwards says, don't push send, okay? If you're about ready to put some dumb shit out in the atmosphere, don't do it. Think long and hard. There's repercussions for that stuff. This guy just landed his dream job. Done before it started, right? He didn't preside over one fucking game, right? Because he's an idiot. Who knows if he was drinking, smoking, doing whatever, all of the above. Don't send fucking dick pics to people, okay? Don't do it, right? Especially unsolicited dick pics. I think I speak for all of my female friends and associates when they say they don't fucking want them, okay? Don't do it, right? Now, it's a double standard. Women, if you want to send naked pictures to dudes, there's probably not a dude in the world that would give a shit. But for guys, don't do it. They don't want to see it. You shouldn't do it. Anything you put out there lives forever, right? You don't know who they're sending it to. And you can get fired for it, right? So don't do it, right? Don't do it to coworkers. Listen, cancel culture starts with you, man. If you make less mistakes, you do less dumb shit, there's a less chance that you're going to get canceled, okay? And if you feel like getting somebody canceled, don't be a pussy. Reach out to them directly. Have some conversation about it. Lend perspective, maybe take some perspective, and go from there. So that is episode 4 of the BAMF Podcast. Forgive my wandering eyes, but the camera is here, right? So a little tough. I'm not in love with how the AirPods look, outside. That's for the gym or whatever, but it's what I got, so that's what I use. So thank you. Again, I appreciate all the the time, right? I mean, not everybody's got a half hour to listen to my rambling bullshit, but I appreciate all of those who do. I appreciate all of those who share it. I'm still sort of evolving sort of every week on different platforms and how I want to do it and how I want to put it out in the atmosphere. This is sort of a spur of the moment thing. I had a little free time. I have I got a 12:30 appointment, so I had some time to kill, so I decided to try this out. Hope it works. Hope it sounds good. We'll see. And keep sending me ideas, man. I'd love to talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. I am the king of useless knowledge. You do not want to play me in trivia or Jeopardy, but I'm all for debate. I'm all for conversation, and let's bring it. Thanks, guys.